Welcome to the Old Lumens channel again. This is a video review of the small Sun ZY T20. It's a 4x 18650 light that has a large reflector, about 75 millimeter, 74 millimeter reflector with an XML in it. I got this light from Wallbuys, and I have to stop for a second to explain something about Wallbuys. Okay, the light came boxed, but in the box was just the light. Now if you take the light out, you can see that there's a charger in here and who knows what that was in here as well. But definitely it had a wall charger, and this light has a charging port on it right there. So I'm a little bit upset that I just got the light without the charger. To me, that's a mark against Wallbuys. I hate to say that because, you know, I've had a lot of conversations with them through email, and what I think is that they really want to be better than they are, and I have a feeling like maybe they don't know which way to go with things, or maybe they're not as able to communicate as some of the other vendors do, is communicate with English-speaking people. I sort of tend to get that feeling when I do email work with them. I bought this light at a reduced rate, reduced price. I didn't get it for free for reviews, so I bought it for myself to do a mod, and I got a reduced price on it. But I sure expected to get the light with the charger, and I'm a little disappointed that it doesn't. Even though, that said, I'm not going to keep the charging port in it anyways, so maybe I shouldn't feel bad about it. But for anybody else who bought the light full price, I hope they get a charger. Because they'd be sorely disappointed. I don't have anything against Wallbuys at all. I think maybe that I believe they could do a lot better than they are. Maybe they don't have the direction to do it. Maybe they don't have the people who have the knowledge of the English language to be able to communicate the way they should. I don't know. But I really do feel like they are trying to do the right thing, but they just aren't doing the right thing. So that's it for that. We're going to talk about the light itself. As I say, 4x 18650 single XML T6. So they're on the side, XML T6. Overall fit and finish of this light is very good. I really like the finish of it. It's not like some of the typical lights with a real rough anodized or a rough aluminum finish with anodizing, making it look and feel rough. I sort of like it the way it is. I don't see a lot of nicks, dings, and dents in it. The handle looks to be stainless, or, you know, if not, then it's plated, but it sure looks to be stainless. One thing I will say about the handle is it flexes pretty easily, and this light is heavy. This light goes 1.5 pounds empty with no batteries in it. So with batteries, it's over 2 pounds. I mean, it's heavier than the 16 mag light loaded. So it's really something. And most of that weight is front heavy, nose heavy. All the weight is right in here. Very lightweight body, very heavy head. So it should have a lot of heat sink ability with the size of that head, I would think. Once we get it apart, we'll see. It has the typical tail clicky. Okay. It has 3 modes. It's high, medium. Well, okay. Let me go through this. Okay, high, medium, low, and then fast, strobe, and then SOS. Okay. It has a polished bezel, and it has some knurling up on the head here, as well as the rest of the work on the head, as far as some fins for cooling, heat transfer. Overall, like I say, it seems to be a really well-made light. Maybe until we get to the inside of it. I have my four Panasonic batteries in it. I've already done some beam shots with it. I will test for amp draw in it. The overall length of the light is 188 millimeter. The overall diameter of the head is 75 millimeter outer diameter, and as I say, 1.57 pounds. Four 18650 in parallel. Basically, it looks just like the body of a King. You know, I mean, just about exactly the same as a King or any of the other 4X 18650 lights I see. Same diameter, basically. I really believe that a King driver will fit in it. I don't know what type of driver it has in it yet until I get inside it, but it sure looks like about the same diameter as a King driver. I'm going to go ahead and take a little bit apart here and take the bezel off. First thing I can see right here, we have a glass lens. It's green glass, so to me that means if it's coated, it's not much of a coating on it at all. It's certainly not anything like an AR coating. The reflector, and here we have no O-ring. So now we have no O-ring in the light. That really disturbs me too. There should be an O-ring up front, so it's not waterproof at all. It's going to leak like crazy. There's the guide for the LED right there, the centering guide. This reflector, I was under the assumption that this was a metal reflector. This is a plastic reflector. That really also ticks me off. I did not understand it was a plastic reflector, or I wouldn't have got this light. As far as I'm concerned, you know, that really blows it for the light right there. I mean, it's a nice looking reflector. I don't see any inclusions. I don't see any damage to it at all. You can see it's a dual finish. It's got the stippled bottom third or almost bottom half is stippled, and then the top is the shine, the high finish. Okay. And it's plated well and all that kind of thing, but you can see right there, I don't know if you can tell, but you can see the clear plastic right through it, you know. So you know, to me, that right there, that's not a light that I want to mod. I mean, I haven't got much choice. That reflector is probably going to be an odd size reflector, an odd design, so you know, I'll have to deal with it. But anyways, inside we have an XML T6. It looks to be about maybe a little bit larger than a 20 millimeter star, probably more like a 25 or 30 millimeter star, sitting on an aluminum, and this is loose here, but an aluminum pill. And this is loose and it turns, but I can feel with my fingers that the driver is not turning. So this is separate from the driver section itself. So I'll be taking that all apart, and I'll be going through all that. Thread-wise, I mean, none of the threads are bad at all. They're fairly smooth. They look to be just, well, not really square cut, but pretty close to it. I mean, they're a real good cut thread. The tail cap will actually come off. I'm going to set this out of the way so we can see back in on the switch in here. Okay, looks to be a standard clicky, nothing fancy. All right, and inside the tail cap, just your push button in there, and you take that locating ring or retaining ring out to get the push button out, the rubber boot out. So there is an O-ring in the back here for the tail cap. There is an O-ring for the body to the head. Okay, but there's an O-ring missing for the, like I say, for the reflector and lens. Okay, I'm back here again. I wanted to go ahead and just tear the rest of it down real quick. Just the battery contact plate with a switch on it. You know, that's a stock thing. I wanted to do the amp draws, and on high, and I suspected as much, on high this thing is only drawn 2 amps. So you know, we're not putting a heck of a lot of lumens out there, and we're not stressing that XML T6 at all. We're not even maxing it out at 3 amps. So don't expect this to be a super bright light. That's what I felt when I looked at it. I mean, it has a nice tight spot, but we're only pushing 2 amps the LED. This is the driver, and I'll take some stills with this as well. I'm not a driver expert, so I can't tell you a lot, but like I say, this thing does have the charger plug on it. This is all going to go south, and to give you a what if, I told you this thing looked like it might be a fit a king. Here's a king driver, a specialized one. I think you probably know this from Texas Pyro, or Pyromaniac as I like to call him. But this is his modified, specialized king driver, and it's I mean, it's the same diameter. It might be a quarter of a millimeter smaller, so it might be a little bit of difference trying to get it to fit in there good, but I think it's no problem at all. And of course, you can see where this is going to go with it, since that'll give me 9 amps with an MTG2. So now you know what the mod's going to be. Anyways, the star did have some thermal paste, and was pretty evenly distributed. And the shelf, or the insert for the star set on, it's threaded, it's aluminum, and it's actually solid. It doesn't have a hole in the center like a lot of them do. It's not very heavy at all. It's very lightweight, and the actual shelf itself that the LED sits on, or the star sits on, is maybe 1.5 millimeters or 2 millimeters thick. Probably 2 millimeters thick on there, right there. But there's plenty of room between that and the driver. Okay, down inside of here, there's a lot of space in here between where this sits and where the driver is down at the very bottom. So there's quite a bit of room to either make this into copper, or at least add some to it to make it a heavier duty heat sink, and I will be doing that when I do the mod. Overall, as I say, what blows it for this light is the fact that it has a plastic reflector, and I'll tell you real quick dimension of the reflector, just a guesstimate dimension. We're looking at 70 millimeter reflector and about 50 millimeters deep, so 70 millimeter diameter, 50 millimeter deep, and the lens looks to also be, lens actually comes out looking like about 70.5, or well, 70 millimeter. So 70 millimeter glass lens, 70 millimeter by 50 millimeter reflector, plastic. And that's what blows it for me, is the plastic reflector and the fact that I didn't get the charger with the light. So what really makes it for me is this head is really heavy. It's a massive head, and with some modification, I think it'll work well for something like an MTG2 push to 10 amps or push to 9 amps. So that's all I got. I thank Wallbuys for the fact that they did get the light to me, but I'm just a little bit aggravated about the rest of it. Thanks for watching.